Alright guys, we are on day 5732 of journalists blaming gamers for pretty much everything under the sun, other than global warming, although I'm sure because we all play video games, we're contributing to that too as well. So, that being said, I just saw this article from Fandom Pulse today talking about how Assassin's Creed Shadow's creative director claims that Naue is the fastest assassin we've ever made and a different type of shinobi. Now, I just want to stop you right there because honestly, you cannot get much better with the Assassin's Creed games than Ezio's trilogy. That really, for me, because I went all the way through Unity and I quit. I was like, I'm so bored with these games, I can't continue any longer. But Ezio's trilogy, his storyline, his story arc, is for me is where the entire series ended. Yes, Black Flag was still really good. I still enjoyed Assassin's Creed 3. I thought the Native American part was pretty cool. I thought there were some cool elements to it. But I was pretty much done after Unity, and there were some good games after that. Obviously, some people said that some of the games were really good, like Odyssey or whatever. I just couldn't care less to get back into the series. That being said, I find it very interesting that with all the hypersensitive controversy, we should say, going on in the video game industry right now with these overpowered, strong girl boss characters, replacing male characters as the lead, a lot of the certain things like the Black Samurai and Assassin's Creed Shadows, all these weird decisions they've made, I find it very telling that now they're saying that Naue is the fastest assassin we've ever made. And yes, they try to justify it by saying, well, we wanted to give people a legitimate assassin-only, non-combat type character, and we wanted to make her fast and agile and being able to sneak around and do assassin-type stuff. And that's all well and good. But I find it absolutely hilarious that we have had a dozen or more Assassin's Creed titles to this point, with assassin characters thousands of years apart, all different civilizations, male and female. But for some weird reason now, now we have the fastest assassin we've ever made. Very curious. And you got to remember, people like, again, even the CEO of Ubisoft wanted to push back against gamers who criticize this game as being nothing more than sexist, toxic bigots. So guys, this is the rhetoric we've seen at this point here, and it's not going to get much better anytime soon. Oh, quick reminder though, because it is very close to Christmas, Instant Gaming does have the Advent calendar still going all the way through the 20th. They've got a ton of games on sale, so use the link down below. Go check them out if you guys are going to be picking up any new games. Save yourself some money, please. Just don't pay full price if you can. So, Daxerto had this article from 4 days ago saying how The Witcher 4 and Intergalactic backlash has proved that sexism in gaming is only getting worse. Now, my one question is, if the sexism is only getting worse, maybe you guys, the ones who are pushing these narratives, these agendas in these games, giving us all these ugly-ass women, and no, I'm on the record saying I don't think Ciri in Witcher 4 looks ugly. I think she doesn't look at all like Ciri from Witcher 3. That's my biggest issue. She doesn't match. It's a completely different looking character. But again, we've seen so many games give us these bland, vanilla, butch, masculine women, and they wonder why sexism could possibly be getting worse as they continue to, unveil time and time again these different characters that people, let's be honest, nobody wants. Nobody's expecting, nobody's hoping for. The majority of people want attractive characters. And I should have brought up the tweet before. There's some idiot on the internet who was basically blaming everybody under the sun for, basically being misogynists and objectifying women and saying, well, see, women have been fighting against this for years. Women don't want objectified, sexy women. They want the bland women. It's like, no, most women want to play or watch objectively beautiful women. That's the ideal that we all strive for in life, is the hypermasculine, jacked, out of his mind dude, or again, the sensual, beautiful, glamorous woman. That's just kind of the ideal for society. That's how we function as a culture, okay? So, of course, we have them blaming sexism yet again. But what I find even funnier, an article that I hadn't even seen until today, and it's from yesterday, from Rock, Paper, Shotgun, saying how apparently in an interview, by having Ciri as the Witcher 4 lead, it will help the game explore the Witcher world's sexism, says CD Projekt Red. Now, I've been very critical of CD Projekt Red in the past, and I want to be very straight and to the point with this. CD Projekt Red did not actually say that Ciri is going to fight sexism, all right? I do not want to, try to deceive anybody. That is not at all what the people from CD Projekt Red said. This is the media spin, and we always have to be cautious to just blame the wrong people. We need to be aware of the fact that the media will spin things to suit a narrative, as we've seen them do for the last 30, 40, 50 years. So, this article here says that the announcement of The Witcher 4 with Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Ciri as protagonist has attracted a bit of discussion. Some of the reaction is online toddlers waxing wroth about a video game having a somewhat older woman as a lead character, and especially shock, a video game in a series that hitherto starred a man. So again, straight out of the gun there, they're just absolutely disrespectful and disingenuous. Then it says, and some of its people commenting more thoughtfully on whether Ciri genuinely makes for a suitable Witcher protagonist, given that she isn't the product of the typical Witcher genetic modification regime, or whatever the word is, which is heavily tailored towards men, and given that without spoiling too much, she has gifts that make crumbly old Geralt's sword and sorcery skill set look rather paltry. What's even weirder is the fact that, honestly, to even say that Geralt's sword and sorcery skill set looks paltry is a kind of an insult to Geralt and the Witchers as a whole. Sure, Ciri is OP, there's no question there, and I thought that, personally, a game featuring Cirilla should have more of a traveling through time and space and maybe getting stuck on a planet full of monsters like where they originally came from or something. That would be pretty cool. Kind of a cool way to deviate from the Witcher series as a whole, but still have it connected to the same universe. Rather than just saying, well, Ciri, she's basically going to be stripped of all of her power because of the Trial of the Grasses, so all that elder blood that she had no longer matters. She somehow survived the trial even as an adult woman. Oh, and now basically she's just another Witcher. So they're leaning into the fact that she'll still have some spells or magic she can have. But when you boil it all down, if she's operating as a Witcher, it's because she has been stripped of, let's say, 90% of her power. She's not going to be full power Cirilla in this game. She's just going to be a Witcher with added parts, I guess. Speaking to Eurogamer this week, game director Sebastian Kalemba and narrative director Philip Weber responded to a few of these comments and also shared a little bit about Ciri's situation at the start of the game. The specific section of the interview in question begins with Weber noting that in the original books, Ciri is repeatedly described as a Witcher. And you can debate this, and again, I've seen some people say, well, they call her a Witcher, but without, the actual mutations. They refer to her as a Witcher girl because of her personality and her fiery nature, but that she's not actually a full-fledged Witcher. I didn't read the original books. I'm not Polish, so I'm not going to be able to speak from the original translation. That being said, it says Ciri is already playable at points in The Witcher 3, so CD Projekt Red wanted to see more of what they could do with her. And again, I have no problem with that. I would have preferred that they try to take the game in a different direction, though. Or, if you want to have a character like Ciri, as they say that they wanted to give you more options of how to play with her, make a game where you can make your own Witcher. Do that, and then have them in the same universe as Geralt and Cirilla, and then continue the story maybe in the background or something. That would have been so much better. But then it says, Weber added that what makes Ciri an intriguing choice of protagonist is partly that she isn't quite a Witcher. Well, now they're saying she's not, okay? Make it make sense. She might not be a fully customizable character, but she has room to grow where Grizzly Geralt had already nailed down his Eastwoodian outsider persona by the time he became a video game leading man. One of the things they said that makes Ciri into an interesting new protagonist for us is, of course, that she is at the beginning of her journey as a Witcher. So as an example, Geralt was very, very experienced already. He went through so many things and, created his own code, his value of neutrality. He created through so many experiences. And Ciri still has to make many of those experiences. She has to go through so many of these things. So in a way, even though Ciri is, of course, a defined character with her, players will have the opportunity to still define her quite a bit more, specifically define the path that she will take on her way to becoming a Witcher, and basically also what kind of person that will make her. Naturally, Ciri also promises to bring a fresh perspective, and here you go, to the broadly misogynistic, alternately sensitive and pervy universe of The Witcher, a video game series that once let you collect prawn cards for female characters and still loves to make a spectacle of its nubile sorceresses. So we have this guy complaining about hot, sexy women. And again, he's talking about these romance cards where essentially after you complete a romance of a certain female in the game, you get a little card as like a memorial thing. Again, I don't understand what the big deal about it is. Most of these are just artistic. To call them prawn even is kind of a stretch. He says, I would say that the world of The Witcher is really a dark one that's inspired by, of course, dark fantasy folklore, Weber commented, when asked about the game's portrayal of gender politics and sexism. Now, again, I'm going to pause and say Weber did not call anything sexist. He's responding to a question about sexism, so I want to be very clear about that. He says, but also medieval to early Renaissance history, and that is a world that was tough for many different groups, women among them. And as an example, in The Witcher, we also deal with a lot of racism when it comes to non-humans, and this is something that we want to keep up with The Witcher 4. I think it's something that has always been really important. And then, you know, honestly, we've heard this conversation time and time again about how in fantasy groups, orcs and elves and dwarves, none of these characters get along. Humans kind of intermix with all the rest of them because they're kind of like the other white meat. But other than that, it's like, look, it is okay in fantasy to have sexism. It's okay in fantasy to have misogyny. It's okay in fantasy to have racism because these are fantasy worlds. First off, it's fiction. It's not based 100% on real life. It's not based on any real characters. And it's involving races of people, creatures and monsters and characters that never existed. So I don't understand why everything has to be about misogyny and racism and sexism in a fantasy world. But this is what these journalists do, guys. They take the words, even of these people who we are already scrutinizing, but we're still trying to hold out hope that the game is going to be good, and twisting it to say, well, what about the sexism? What about the misogyny? What about the racism of these people? I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think about this. Remember to check out Instant Gaming if you're trying to save some money on some games. If you enjoyed the video, please hit like and subscribe. We are super close to 11,000. I can't thank you guys enough, and I will catch you guys on the next one. All right, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for being here. I do have 2 channels, Minimal Effort Podcast, as well as my gaming channel. I do have a Twitch and Kick for my gaming channel. We do live streams over there occasionally, maybe once a week. And then if you are in the market for a new PC, make sure to check out Meta PCs. Click the link I have down below. Use code TBO at checkout for a special discount. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.